Service is compulsory for both men and women in Israel, but until now, ultra-Orthodox Jews have been exempt. The U.S. Surgeon General for the first time declaring gun violence a public health crisis.
Surgeon General.
All right, and we're live on the video live stream. Hello on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thanks for joining us. Hello, Kate.
Hi, nice to see everyone.
We're here with Kate Rendell. She's the executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. We're going to be joining to talk about the CASA of Southwest Michigan, what they are, what they do, what they need, and some of the stories that people should probably know about CASA of Southwest Michigan. I hear a lot about CASA of Southwest Michigan. I know you do a lot of great work, so I'm really glad that you came in to talk about that today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. We do a lot of great work, and we're part of an organization that spans across the United States. There's about 950 different local programs across the U.S., and then Michigan has just under 30.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 30 organizations like you all across the state.
That's correct.
Okay.
So our program services 2 counties, which is Berrien and St. Joseph County, but then we have neighboring programs in Cass, Van Buren, Kalamazoo, and so on.
Okay. We'll talk about what you do and the vision and mission for CASA of Southwest Michigan, and that's coming up in just a moment. It's right here on the WSJM Morning Show. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back.
Complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves.
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text ALL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ALL to 321-321. That's ALL to 321-321.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
And taking a look at some of the news that we're covering for you today from the WSJM Newsroom, St. Joseph City Commissioners are ready to interview 2 finalists for the position of city manager. Commissioner Michelle Binkley of the Manager Search Committee said initial committee interviews with 7 candidates have taken place, and now they are narrowing the field to 2 finalists for interviews with the full city commission.
We had 25 candidates with a variety of qualifications, and I am happy to report that the subcommittee has arrived at 2 exceptional candidates of that group that met all the qualifications.
Finalists for the 2 interview slots are Assistant City Manager Emily Hackworth and the current City Manager of Bridgman, Juan Ganum. The interviews will take place, they say, in early July. They're looking for a replacement for current city manager John Hodgson, who is retiring in the fall after 30 years of service to the city. He's been city manager since 2015. The city of Coloma is getting closer to a new addition in Randall Park with a new splash pad. The project, which was the result of a master plan adopted in May of 2021, has received a number of donations and is looking to have a groundbreaking for the splash pad later this year. Coloma Mayor Marcia Hammond said the city is on track and hoping to unveil something this summer by July or August.
It's been quite a big dream, and the fact that we are pushing forward and making it a reality is wonderful. I think it will be quite an addition to the city of Coloma and Randall Park. This will just take it to the next level and helping us make Coloma a destination.
Efforts to raise funds for the pad were announced last year in March with a cost estimate of between $165,000 and $200,000. So far, $131,000 has been raised for the project through generous donations as well as a potential grant funding opportunity. In addition, the city has teamed up with the Summers family to support the splash pad. They will honor Norma Jean Summers by naming the splash pad after her. As fundraising continues, the city of Coloma is making plans for a groundbreaking, which is to be held in July or August this summer. For more information, you can visit cityofcoloma.org and search for the splash pad. The new railroad tracks being laid at the Michigan Maritime Museum in South Haven are growing as volunteers head to the museum every Saturday this summer. Flywheelers Museum President Pat Ingalls tells us since taking ownership of the former House of David steam-powered locomotive 902 last year, the museum has laid about 2,000 feet of track for the engine. The goal is 7,000 feet. to allow for a loop and public train rides. He says it's hard work to lay railroad track, but they're getting better at it.
We've been reviewing our processes that we're using to do it and making improvements on installing the ballast and compacting it and how we install the rail. So we're learning a lot as we go.
Ingalls says they're following state rules for the track, so it will be legal to offer public rides on the historic Locomotive 902. The tasks include cutting, drilling, stacking, and banding ties.
It is hard work. That's why we're changing our processes. We've developed an attachment that goes on a tractor that spreads the ballast to about 4 inches deep, and then we have a compactor that compacts it and makes it level, and then we are going to start pre-building rail sections on an elevated table that we can then forklift into position.
Ingalls says he thinks it'll be a while before all 7,000 feet of track are laid, but notes volunteers are gathering every Saturday this summer to move the project forward. And people are welcome to help from the general public. All you have to do is show up around 9 a.m. on a Saturday. The Michigan Flywheelers Museum received the historic House of David train thanks to Merlin Hansen, who obtained the House of David trains 902 and 903 after they were shut down in the 1970s. And we've talked a bit about this. It's been nearly a year since Michigan enacted new distracted driving laws, including the hands-free law that bans holding a cell phone while driving. Has the law been working? Ryan McMahon works for the Cambridge Mobile Telematics Group, a Massachusetts-based firm that tracks data from drivers participating voluntarily to analyze statistics and driver behavior. He joined a recent episode of the Talking Michigan Transportation podcast and said the amount of distracted driving has dropped for the first 2 months of the law, and they say that, along with the crashes caused by distracted driving.
The amount of distraction in Michigan went down 11%. That is a significant number. It's actually almost 12%, 11.7%. The next month, so month 2, that number increased. So the amount of decrease increased. So the total amount went to 13.5% below what it was before the law went into effect.
The number of these crashes started to drop after the 8th month, they say. The statistics estimate that 17 fatal crashes were avoided as a result of the law's implementation. Experts still say more awareness is required to make sure more people understand the perils of distracted driving. That's a look at some of the local news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom. We've got sports coming up next, a whole lot more, including our special guest, Kate Rendell, who's here from CASA of Southwest Michigan. She's in studio to talk with us about what the organization does and how they need your help. That's happening right now on the WSJM Morning Show.
There's nothing better than a Game 7, and that's what we had last night for the Stanley Cup Final. Sam Reinhart had the game-winning goal in the second period as the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers 2-1 for the first Stanley Cup in Florida franchise history. Edmonton's Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. He's the first losing player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy since 2003. Major League Baseball last night had Philadelphia over the Tigers 8-1. The Tigers host the Phillies again tonight at 6:40. A 6:15 pregame show on Newstalk Sports 94.9 WSJM. The Dodgers shut out the White Sox 3-0. Sox and Dodgers meet again tonight at 8:10. And the Cubs lost on a bases-loaded walk to Wilmer Flores as the Giants beat the Cubs 5-4. The Cubs face the Giants again tonight at 9:45. No games last night in Midwest League Baseball. Tonight, Great Lakes is at Lake County at 6:05. West Michigan is at Lansing at 7:05. And South Bend is at Wisconsin at 7:40.
I promise I'm not ignoring you.
No, I'm taking the break.
Kate Rendell is the executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. We'll be back on the air to talk with you in just a moment. What do you think? Are we doing all right here? Any questions?
No, I love the windows and the view of the trees. It's quite a retreat in here.
It's nice. I mean, you wouldn't think we've got Napier Avenue just across the street there. Every now and again, we get to see the deer go through.
Oh,
So,
I bet you do.
yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. But we'll come back and talk with Kate Rendell in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We're going to talk about CASA of Southwest Michigan. That's coming up next.
So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
This is your Shamrock Impact Update, informing you of the ways in which Berrien Springs Public Schools makes a difference through innovation and creativity in education. Berrien Springs Middle School offers a dynamic learning environment that focuses on attendance, achievement, and engagement in providing a quality education. Their curriculum features innovative programs such as Project Lead the Way and essential skill-building courses in careers and financial literacy. A key component of the educational approach is the emphasis to project-based learning. This method allows students to engage deeply with their education, applying their knowledge to real-world problems and projects. It fosters critical thinking, communication, creativity, and collaboration, skills essential for success in the 21st century.
This is Arabella Dinkins. I'd like to invite you to visit homeoftheshamrocks.org to learn more about how students experience the Shamrock Way at Berrien Springs Public Schools. Berrien Springs Public Schools, together inspiring students to think, learn, achieve, and care in a global community.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web design from Websticks.
When you talk to the team at Websticks, it's a sign of a new beginning for your company's website. A fresh start. No more broken links. No more old information. The end of dated pictures. Or maybe you need a fresh start because the person or business who most recently worked on your site vanished into thin air. Just tap Websticks. Doesn't matter if you need an entirely new website or have just a few things to fix. Just tap Websticks. They've been in business since 2001 and now are happy to be serving Southwest Michigan. Websticks has completed over 1,000 website projects and over 20,000 maintenance tasks. And now they're ready to help you. Give your website a fresh start. Call 269-925-1123 or visit stunningsitesmoreclicks.com.
Stunning sights, more clicks, web design from Websticks.
Showers and thunderstorms possible today. Severe storms, strong to severe storms are a possibility. We're going to top out in the low to mid 80s. We will see another chance of showers and storms overnight tonight. We drop to 68 and a few showers tomorrow. High temperatures back though, right around 78 to 80 degrees. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And we're so happy to have you here this morning on the WSJM Morning Show. We're going to talk a little bit first with Kate Rendell, Executive Director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. And then in just a few moments, we're going to check in with the Chamber from Southwest Michigan. Sarah Spoonholtz will be joining us. But first, we wanted to talk a little bit with Kate Rendell. Kate, CASA of Southwest Michigan. For those who don't know what CASA of Southwest Michigan is, maybe you can introduce us. What is CASA of Southwest Michigan?
Absolutely. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate, and it's a national program, as I mentioned previously, that services children who are navigating foster care. So our organization recruits and trains volunteer advocates. We do a high screening process with our volunteers, and then we provide them about 30 hours of training for free to prepare them to advocate for the best interest of children in foster care. After that, we match them with a case, and they get assigned to the case through a court order from a judge that gives them mostly unrestricted access to their education records, to be able to visit them at their foster placements, at school. And what the purpose of that is to get to know the child and then to report back to the court on how they're doing. So it's an important role because these children are going through tumultuous times, often with immense amount of change in their life, including the professionals that come in and out of their life. When they get appointed a CASA to their case, that volunteer is making a commitment to stay with that child until they have a permanent place to live and are safe.
And you mentioned that the children that are the beneficiaries of the CASA program, they're in, as you mentioned, a tumultuous time in their lives. Maybe without talking about stuff that you can't talk about here on the air, what kind of situations are they in that they need to be in this place?
Sure. So
in their lives,
to enter foster care, there has to be quite a significant amount of either abuse or neglect. So CPS would be alerted, And then
Child Protective Services.
that's correct. And then they would have to find enough evidence for the judge and the court to decide that it is in the best interest to remove the child from their family of origin. So normally a parent. After that, they may get placed with other family, which would be preferable, but they'll still be under court supervision.
And so what sorts of things are you looking for the volunteers? What are the CASA employees engaging with the children to do during this period?
During this period, our CASA volunteers are out there interviewing and gaining as much information as they can about how the child is doing. So it could be related to how are visits going with parents? Is the child asking to see parents? Are the children, if they're not placed with their siblings, are they still getting to see one another? As well as have behaviors changed in school while there's less supervision of the children by, say, a parental figure? Are they still meeting their academic stride? Do they need special help in school? And so those are all things that a CASA volunteer would be reporting back to the court on and advocating in the meanwhile for the child.
About how many volunteers do you have, do you think?
Right now we have about 40.
Okay.
Mhm.
And long-term, short-term, how do people come into the system there?
Yeah, I would say that our program has a little bit longer than average retention of our volunteers, and it's about 3.5 years
Okay.
that our volunteers stay with our organization. We're always training more volunteers. We know it's an above and beyond commitment for a volunteer position, but we find that most of our volunteers get quite a bit more than they expected out of the experience, being that person for a child.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that. The volunteers, some of the training that you and the volunteers go through on a regular basis, how to handle some of that emotional toll that I imagine comes along with being a volunteer, helping a child that's going through those transition times. So we'll talk with Kate Rendell a little bit more about CASA of Southwest Michigan, what it takes to be a volunteer, what they need, and some of the stories behind what CASA does and the benefits they bring to Southwest Michigan. It's coming up in just a few moments on the WSJM Morning Show. We'll also talk with the Chamber, find out what's happening this week in Southwest Michigan.
Loan rates are trending downward. Are you ready to make your move? Sturgis Bank's expert hometown lenders will guide you through the process and take the time to make sure you're ready to become a homeowner. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, looking at a vacation house, or thinking of building, Sturgis Bank can meet your needs. Experience the Sturgis Bank difference. Highly personal service, long-time community support, and a desire to do right by the people we serve. Visit SturgisBank.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Got a sprinkler system in your yard? Then you know the benefits. Really green grass, despite the summer sun. Fresh-looking landscape, vibrant plants. But if your sprinkler system needs work, it's time to get creative.
I'm Ryan from Creative Landscaping. Without regular water, the best landscaping plan won't last for long. That's why we offer full service on sprinklers and irrigation systems. Installation, repairs, troubleshooting, spring turn-on, winterizing. At Creative, we do it all. Learn more at creativelandscapinginc.com.
Creative Landscaping and Design, making landscapes greener since 1976.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
IMS understands that when you run a business, having someone you can lean on means something. It means you get a better night's sleep because you know you're well protected. It means you don't have to be an insurance expert. It means you can use your energy to do what you're good
morning.
at.
Can you hear me
While
now?
Insurance Management Service, your local auto owners agency, focuses on protecting your present and your
We're gonna
future.
come back in
This
a
is
couple of
Rich.
minutes. We
It
got
means
things
something
kind
to
of
us
discussed on the
that
board.
you trust IMS as your
But that's
insurance
not unusual
agency.
for me.
This is Tarek. We want you to know it's our privilege to be in your corner.
Contact IMS, your local auto owners agency in St. Joseph and Niles. Visit imsinsuranceagency.com. IMS. It means something.
We're watching over you. IMS Insurance Management Service.
IMS is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance.
The Krazel Art Fair on the Bluff, presented by First Source Bank Wealth Advisory Services, celebrates its 62nd year, Saturday, July 13th and Sunday, July 14th in downtown St. Joe. Admission is free, but you can help support year-round access to the arts in our community by making a donation of any amount. Enjoy live music, brews, and great food at the Friday night block party July 12th on the Krazel grounds from 5 to 9 for just $5. Then come back Saturday, July 13th from 10 to 6 and Sunday, July 14th from 10 to 5 to explore the Bluff, featuring over 170 artists from across the nation. Get treated like a VIP. Buy your VIP Collector's Experience package, including reserved parking and great merch, right now at Krazel.org. The Krazel Art Fair on the Bluff, presented by First Source Bank Wealth Advisory Services, with support from the City of St. Joseph, 98.3 The Coast, Roof Wiz, LKF Marketing, MailMax, Pepsi, Signature Dealer Group, and the Southwest Michigan Tourist Council. Get more details at Krazel.org.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
And Sarah Spoonholtz, I think you're on the phone line now. You there? Here, hang on one second. We'll try this one more time. All right. You there now? Hey, I can hear you just great. You were there all the time. I don't know what we're talking about here. No, it's good to hear your voice, Sarah. How are things at the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber?
With you.
Well, we're doing good. We're just having fun on the WSJM morning show.
Hey, awesome. Well, we are gearing up for a really exciting July. We actually kind of have a little bit of a reprieve after the craziness that was last week with like 5 events last week, which was amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
So we got this week where we can kind of breathe, catch our breath. And then next week, of course, being the 4th of July, which is a nice a little break too and things. And then we jump right back into it. The following week, we've got a ribbon cutting with Lisa from Forever Clean Soap Works for her 10-year anniversary celebration. I'm actually having a physical location starting off in Niles, moving to South St. Joe off of Cleveland, now into downtown St. Joe. So we're super excited to celebrate with her on Wednesday, July 10th. We've also got a lot of fun things happening with the Bridgman 75th birthday bash on Saturday, July 13th. They have a full, and I do mean a full day planned, Ken.
Oh, sweet.
Everything from a 5K,
Okay.
10K, fun walk, a parade. They've got lots of activities for the kids. They've got food trucks from Don Chepe coming in. The social district is going to be fully up and running. It always is up and running, but I'm just saying it's going to be up and running.
Yeah.
They've got the Spaniels Forever coming in, the godfather of doo-wop with Billy Shelton leading that group. And then, of course, they've got a movie that night. So, I mean, they've got a ton of stuff planned for that day in downtown Bridgman. Super excited to work with them on that, and looking forward to celebrating. Then our golf outing, Monday, July 15th. It's officially sold out. We sold out our last team yesterday.
Congratulations.
So we've got 128.
Wow. I said congratulations. That's fantastic. So
Thank you. So we sold out on sponsors and we sold out on golfers. But if you want to be on the wait list, reach out and let me know, and I will get you added.
Well, I was going to ask, does that mean that you will be golfing out there?
No.
No.
No, it means for the betterment of the course that I will not be golfing out there.
Yeah, the greenskeepers are thanking you for not doing that. Excellent. Well,
Yes.
congrats on getting that sold out. What else?
Thank you. And then later that week, we've got our July business after hours at 401 Casino. It's going to be a pool party. So if you haven't had the chance to check out the pool area at 401 down in New Buffalo, this is a great opportunity to do so. It's a fantastic and gorgeous space out there. I've been to a couple of their themed parties out there. Like there was a 90s night and an 80s night. So much fun. So we decided to have a pool party there. And
nice.
July is definitely going to be another warm month. This last week would have been fantastic to have a pool party there too.
Yeah.
But hey,
we'll take it. It's summertime. It's summer in Michigan. It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So those are just some of the things that we have coming up. But we have a ton of events with our members. Pickle Fest, 4th of July fireworks. I mean, all that kind of stuff is at our website, smrchamber.com.
And I don't know if you know this, but we have a guest coming into studio tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning. Yeah,
Tomorrow morning.
I was like, oh, I see. Okay. Because I got a heads up, like, hey, Ken may be reaching out. And I'm like, oh, that might be a good one for Arthur. And then you called.
Yes.
And he's like, why is he calling me? And then I saw it pop up on the calendar. So I'm super excited. Go easy on him. It's kind of early in the morning.
Absolutely
for him.
not. I'm going to
And a
use
newborn,
No, I'm going to use all the questions you sent me and really put him on the hot seat. No, Arthur Havlicek from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber is going to be our guest on tomorrow morning's morning show. So we'll be asking him a lot of questions, including the hot seat questions that Sarah provided, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but we're going to be talking about Southwest Michigan's economy and, questions of population and businesses and all kinds of other stuff. So I think it'll be a good conversation.
It will be. And those are perfect questions too for him to cover because that is like his arena and not mine.
All right.
Yeah.
Sarah, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us this morning and telling us what's happening at the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. You have a good one, and I will definitely make sure to listen tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you. You should listen every morning. We'll turn her microphone off before she says anything different. Well, it's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got more coming up next. We're still talking. We are continuing our conversation with CASA of Southwest Michigan to find out more about that organization, and we'll have local news, and ABC will provide national news. The Bloomberg Market Minute is up next.
When you practice secure storage by keeping guns unloaded, locked, and separate from ammunition, you're not just protecting yourself.
You're protecting friends,
Family.
Neighbors.
and future generations.
So, let's come together as a community and make a commitment to keep each other safe. To learn more, visit michigan.gov/firearm safety. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and
All right. So I started talking to you, Kate. I'm sorry. And I said, we have to turn on the microphones because we have to give exclusive content to everybody who's watching on the video live stream today.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us. You said you were raised in the area, born in the area?
That's correct.
Raised in the area, Covert, where people go to vacation. I experienced Covert through the Whirlpool meeting space that's up there, and then got to know it a lot better as we started covering like Palisades and all that kind of stuff. But it's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it sure is, nestled there in the sand dunes, and quite a bit of it's kept natural because there's a large nature preserve there, the Ross Estate.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that open to the public?
It is open to the public.
Oh, the Ross Estate. I'm going to write that one down for a hiking. Bears? Any bears over there?
Not that I've seen.
Okay,
I
good.
have seen some snakes, though.
Oh, you had to say that.
I know. I'm
My
not a
wife
fan.
Stephanie is not going to go now because there are snakes out there. No, we'll come
They were
back.
very small.
We'll come back in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Made filings last Friday. All of the companies use a management system from software maker CDK, the target of the hacking. New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have the most traffic congestion in America in that order. That is what INRIX found in its latest rankings of where motorists spent the most time in gridlock last year. On average, U.S. motorists spent 42 hours stuck in traffic, costing each driver $733 of their time. Stocks were mixed to start the final week of June. The Dow rose just over 0.2%. The S&P slipped almost 0.33%, and the Nasdaq tumbled just over 1% yesterday. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Temperature outside right now, we're looking at probably around 72 degrees in some areas. Could feel a little bit warmer, a little bit more hot and humid as some of those showers start to move in. We'll have the latest from ABC News coming up in just a moment. Also continuing our conversation with Kate Rendell, the executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. The forecast for today, we're looking at partly sunny skies, hot and humid, 50% chance of showers. We are actually under a severe thunderstorm watch right now for the area. Tonight's forecast, showers and storms possible, a low around 68. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm, a 30% chance of showers, thunderstorms, a high tomorrow, probably around 82. So not going to be as hot as today. We still will see some of those west winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Taking a brief look at the extended forecast, it's Thursday, mostly sunny and warm, a low around 52, a high around 78 degrees. Friday's forecast, partly sunny, very warm and humid again, a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high around 82 degrees and a low around 57. Saturday, partly sunny, very warm and humid, 50% chance of showers, thunderstorms, high around 70, low high around 85, low around 70. So it's still going to be sticky overnight. And then Sunday and Monday, partly sunny and warm both days. The high around 77, 78 degrees, and the low around 58. That's the latest from our weather forecast. We'll have more coming up in just a moment.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Flooding across the upper Midwest continuing this week. ABC's Melissa Adan is near Mankato, Minnesota.
After days of relentless rain, the Rapidan Dam suffering damage from flooding Monday morning. Other parts of the state suffering from torrential rain. Volunteers in Waterville coming together to prepare sandbags. Many other states in the Midwest underwater, with at least one person dying in South Dakota.
The relentless heat wave still bearing down on much of the country. Millions under heat warnings or heat alerts again today. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange headed back to Australia. He has reached a deal with the Justice Department years after obtaining and then publishing classified government documents online. The first presidential debate of the 2024 election coming up on Thursday. Today is primary day across much of the country, including in New York. The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup. They beat the Edmonton Oilers last night 2-1 in Miami. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Taking a look at the local news stories from our WSJM newsroom, the paid parking initiative is on its way to downtown St. Joseph. The St. Joseph City Commission has approved a plan to implement paid parking downtown during the summer months starting next year. At their Monday meeting, they heard from Assistant City Manager Emily Hackworth about recommendations from consultants hired to study the issue. The plan now is to charge for parking west of Main Street between May 1st and September 30th, starting next year. We'll have more on that coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. 4 kayakers are safe after being rescued from the St. Joseph River Channel near Silver Beach on Saturday. Berrien County Sheriff Chuck Haidt tells us that 2 sheriff's deputies assigned to Silver Beach helped the U.S. Coast Guard rescue the kayakers around 7 o'clock that evening. 2 of their kayaks overturned. One of the kayakers suffered a head injury. The Coast Guard was able to reach the 4 quickly. Haidt says deputies Silva and Withington helped the injured kayakers to an ambulance. The waves in the channel between the piers had gotten rough around the time of the incident. Haidt says all parties did a great job of assisting the struggling kayakers. And Buchanan's Hannah Roberts will be back at it in the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris next month. Roberts won a silver medal in the Tokyo Olympics 4 years ago and is once again taking part in the BMX competitions. Roberts has been cycling since the age of 9, competing freestyle. She won her first title in 2012. She qualified for this year's Olympics just this past weekend at a competition in Budapest. The Paris Olympics will run from July 26 to August 11. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We have more coming up. Local sports coming up after this around the state.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher, Republican State Representative.
All right. Feel like we got a lot in there in the last few minutes. Was that informative?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I just appreciate this. I've only been in this position since February. So
Yeah?
yeah, I really appreciate coming on here.
What led you to this position?
Well, I had started as a volunteer back in 2018
Okay.
here in Southwest Michigan. And then it inspired me through my experiences to go back to school. So I went back to school for social work and political science because I wanted to work with individuals, but I know that change needed to happen within the system as well.
Yeah.
So that's the political science. And then I worked in Kent County at their CASA program.
Okay.
So when I saw that this opportunity down here opened back up, then I jumped on it, and that's been my last 4.5 months now. So it's been really great.
Starting as a volunteer, because you said you have somewhere around 40 volunteers, and they typically have they're there for maybe 3 years, maybe more. And what is it like as a volunteer? What was it like getting into the realm of CASA?
Well, I always felt very supported by the staff. So I like to say that every volunteer that gets assigned to a case has each child has 2 people because they have their volunteer, and then their volunteer has their coordinator or support person that's provided from our staff. So I always felt supported, and whenever I had questions about processes in the court system or about how the Department of Health and Human Services was making decisions, I could always go back to the CASA staff and they would help explain it to me. So that was very helpful to feel supported. Of course, most people who are drawn to this are very open hearted. So some of that was difficult, but I had good outcomes for the kids that I advocated for, and they were some of them were adopted by family members, so
Yeah.
that was good. Mhm.
What kind of time commitment as a volunteer are you looking at?
Well, between 10 and 15 hours a month, and it can vary depending on in the beginning of a case, and if there's a lot of placement changes for the children, it can be a little bit more time versus, say, getting closer to an adoption or reunification with parents. Um, a lot of that time is spent phone calls, emails, and then we ask if the child's placed inside of the county that the volunteers in person visit the child every 7 to 10 days. Unfortunately, there's not foster placements enough to meet the demand for children in our county. So sometimes our kiddos get placed outside of county, and then we don't require that volunteers travel extensively
Right.
every 7 to 10 days. But at least once a month, they'll still be visiting with the child. And then regular phone calls or Zoom meetings have been also pretty popular for when our kids are placed outside of the county.
Yeah, that must have probably it became very necessary during COVID, during the pandemic.
That's
and,
right.
and probably proved that you can do it. It can
That's
be
right.
done. Okay.
Absolutely.
What is that? So that 10 to 15 hours a month, what does that look like? What are you doing as a volunteer during that period of time?
So you'll be monitoring the case and checking in on how the child's doing. So monitoring might be looking like reaching out to the school administrators,
Okay.
making a relationship with the teachers, and asking how's things going with the child in the classroom. Are they making friends? Are there behaviors that are coming up? Is there any services that would be helpful for the child to stay on track academically?
Yeah.
If a child changes schools when they change placement, it's estimated that they lose quite a bit of education at that time because not all schools are on the same curriculum. So, helping to support those changes, speaking with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services caseworker. So, a child will have a foster care worker. Sometimes, if they're not going to be getting reunified with their parents, they may also have an adoption worker. So, our CASA volunteers will also be speaking with those individuals to see if things that were ordered by the court are getting scheduled, getting contact information to speak with counselors or therapists, and
Yeah.
then following up on how the child's doing in those services as well.
So how many years total would you say you've been involved in this in CASA?
Well, since 2018.
Okay.
hmm
And biggest surprises, biggest frustrations? I'm putting you on the spot
Yeah,
here.
that's a
Sorry.
loaded question. Um, well,
Maybe they're the same thing. I don't know.
yeah, I would say that the biggest surprises are how fast cases can change for the good or for the worse.
Okay.
So it's incredible to see families go through difficult circumstances and then rise to the challenge and take the services that the state provides and through the court system take the steps to make a safe home for their children and get reunified. So that's probably one of the best and most, I guess it's not really a surprise, but it surprised me how impactful it was for me to see people's diligence and striving for best with their families. And then the most frustrating is just the difficult circumstances that none
Sure.
of these kids are responsible for the circumstances that brought them into care. Um, and it's hard to see children bear the burden of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And we'll talk more. We're talking with Kate Rendell. She's the executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates
That's correct.
for Children. It doesn't mean house because that's
Nope.
what it means in Spanish.
No.
CASA. Does that ever cause confusion?
Yeah, there are some organizations
Okay.
that also are CASA that are serve different populations and
CASA works in St. Joseph County and in Berrien County, Michigan. Last year alone, according to your website, you had more than 1,100 children who were confirmed victims of child abuse. For more than 500 of these children's, their homes are unsafe and abusive, so they must be placed in the care of others, foster care, and they become CASA's kids. So
that's right. If we have a volunteer who's available, because we also don't always have enough volunteers for all the children that are in the court system.
yeah, let's talk about that in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Maybe some opportunities for volunteerism. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Great.
For repairs and software updates, but Kaplan says he's planning to hold on to his.
I'm not going to count on it for my main car, probably not even my second car, but I'll just keep it because I can't really sell it for anything of great value.
With Tech Trends, I'm Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Cue the fireworks and celebrate Independence Day with the Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale. Save 50% off site-wide and fire up the perfect backyard cookout with tender steaks, juicy burgers, deli-style franks, and more family favorites. Shop today at omahasteaks.com and score an extra $30 off when you use promo code QUALITY at checkout. Plus, every purchase is backed by their unconditional money-back guarantee. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code QUALITY at checkout.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Showers and thunderstorms possible today. Severe storms, strong to severe storms are a possibility. We're going to top out in the low to mid 80s. We will see another chance of showers and storms overnight tonight. We drop to 68 and a few showers tomorrow. High temperatures back, though, right around 78 to 80 degrees. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
And it is a great pleasure to have in the studio this morning Kate Rendell, Executive Director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. You lead the organization that is very necessary, unfortunately, for our area, and there are many like it in Michigan, but you operate largely with volunteers. You say you have about 40 volunteers there. Let's talk about first the mission, the general mission of CASA of Southwest Michigan, reminding folks who may not be aware.
Sure. The mission of CASA of Southwest Michigan is to provide specially selected and highly trained community volunteers to advocate for the best interest of each abused and neglected child in pursuit of a safe and permanent home.
And that, I mean, there's a lot there. That's loaded with information. But what do you need volunteers right now?
We do. We're trying to fill our next training up that'll be starting in September.
And what is a volunteer responsible for? You said we talked on the video live stream. If you want more detailed information, you can go back and listen to that. It's on Facebook at WSJM. But for someone who's thinking about a volunteer, what's the broad scope? What am I going to be responsible for? And how many hours am I going to be committing to that?
Sure. After a volunteer is screened and trained, then and appointed to a child in foster care, their responsibility is really gathering information and getting to know the child and their environment.
Yeah.
So they will spend about 10 to 15 hours a month getting to know the child and all of the people that are involved in that child's life, and then reporting that back to the court in a report every 90 days.
And essentially what they're doing is they are the court-appointed special advocate, and big emphasis on advocate, because they're networking with all the people that are interacting with that child currently. They're interacting with the child themselves and understanding where are they at emotionally, right?
That's correct. And what are their wants and needs if they're old enough to express that, hey, I haven't seen my sibling. I really miss them. I'd like to see them. So that's something that a CASA volunteer would be advocating for and could put in their court report, and also help to facilitate that happens for that child.
Yeah. The work that you do, because you're reaching children at a time when they're in foster care, when they're going through some sort of court situation, that must be a heavily emotional toll. Certainly for the child, there's no question what they're going through. But for the people who are around them, helping them, how do you care for the emotional needs of the volunteers as well?
Yeah, that's a really big part of what I would like to focus on for our program is supporting our volunteers with something that's called vicarious trauma. So sometimes people call that caregivers fatigue also. So that's part of our training is to recognize and identify that first of all you'll be getting exposed to tough subject matter, but that let's talk about it. And we have our staff, every volunteer has a staff member that's assigned to them and develops a close working relationship to support them through these hard subject matter. And we talk about it. It's an important part of our culture to know our limits and to debrief with one another over tough subject matter.
Yeah, don't just internalize. Make sure that you're
That
sharing the burden.
That's right. And we're not responsible for changing the world, but we are able to make an impact in a child's life by being a stable presence for them during a time of upheaval and frequent change. And then we can do what we can with where we are.
Yeah. Some of the satisfying things maybe that you can share with us. How do you measure the successes? What do you look back on when you think about, okay, we were able to do something there?
Sure. So, qualitative little antidotes that we hear from children and family members and teachers that wouldn't necessarily get to the judge's ear. That's a success. So, um, a lot of the personnel that are involved and also assigned to these cases have very heavy caseloads. Our volunteers have 1 to 2 children that they're assigned to. So there's quite a bit of extra attention and observations that can be made for these children to give the judge who has the ultimate decision over this child and family's future outcomes. So those are huge successes. Other successes are when a youth who was normally not very talkative starts to call our CASA volunteers or report things that other people hadn't heard before and starts to feel safe. So those are also successes.
That's amazing. It's like a lighthouse in a storm for those children who are going through that trauma at that point. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank
How
you.
do people become volunteers?
So they can become volunteers by visiting our website. There's information that they can fill out there. They can call our office at 269-934-3707.
Mm-hmm.
They can visit our website, which is www.casaswmi.org.
Yes, CASA Southwest. It stands for CASA Southwest Michigan.org, but it's CASASWMI.org. And you can't do it without the help of volunteers, but there are also financial needs. Anyone you would like to thank for that?
Oh, goodness.
A lot, probably a long list.
Absolutely. We could not do this without the commitment and support from individuals and our community donors. Organizations like the United Way are very helpful for us. Our relationships with the Berrien Community Foundation, the courts, of course, are very supportive of our program. Our national or our state program, Michigan CASA. We have an excellent board who's very helpful. And then, of course, several individuals. A lot of our operating budget comes directly from individuals who have it in their heart to give to our program.
That's great. Well, thank you for doing what you do, and thanks to all the volunteers and all the staff. And you've got a four-legged friend who hangs out there as well, right?
Well,
Uh-oh.
we don't. That might be another
Oh, that's another
organization.
organization. Okay. You should have a dog. Everyone needs a dog.
I would love to have a
We'll
dog.
we'll arrange that. We've got Furry Friends Friday coming up. Kate Rendell is the executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You see, this wasn't painful.
No.
This was, and you could have had coffee. It would have been all right. All
Well,
right.
I would have been talking a lot higher pitch.
Kate Rendell, executive director of CASA of Southwest Michigan. If you need more information, go to their website. It's casaswmi.org. And you can get more information. And they're looking for volunteers. There's a process to go through. So, but it sounds entirely rewarding and enjoyable. So, thank you.
That's right.
All right. We'll be back with more. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Our Moody on the Market update is coming up in just a few moments.
Marbots. There you'll get your flats. Proven winners at a roadside stand, even better than this van. Marbots, targets. Their baskets can't be beat. Don't go to Lowe's or Home Depot. Too much walking for your feet.
Big news! The summer sale at Barbet Farms and Greenhouse is going on now. Great savings on everything, like Barbet's own farm-grown hanging baskets in wave after wave of colors, now just $12.99. Farm-grown perennials with values up to $17.99, now just starting at $8. Barbet Farms is pleased to present their best values of the year, just in time to add more color and variety to your patio, porch, or landscape. The summer sale at Barbet Farms and Greenhouse starts now. Great savings on everything.
Marbots, targets, Marbots.
Shop the summer sale at Barbet Farms and Greenhouse. They'll be there to help you all summer long.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the WSJM Morning Show. The video live stream, the exclusive content that you received on the back end is always available. Check it out on Facebook, YouTube, or X. And if you missed any part of this, or if you want to share this with a friend, go ahead and point them to our Facebook page and look for WSJM. We'll have more coming up. Our Moody on the Market update is coming up next on the morning show. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate you. Watch out for thunderstorms. There's a severe thunderstorm watch out for our listening area, so do be aware of that. It's time for your Moody on the Market update. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And talking about the Southwest Michigan Symphony Orchestra, they present a Salute to America at 8:30 in the evening on Wednesday, July 3rd. This annual celebration features a mix of patriotic favorites, film scores, and iconic American works, with the 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky timed to an outstanding fireworks display over Lake Michigan to cap this spectacular celebration. A Salute to America concert will feature a variety of food trucks, always important, to give concertgoers a choice of food, snacks, and drinks to purchase if desired. Food trucks include Crepes by the Lake, La Chula Mobile, Ben's Soft Pretzels, and Lost Coast Shave Ice. The SMSO will also have a tent where adults 21 and over, ID required, will be able to purchase some beer and wine. Now, the end of July brings Peter and the Wolf. That's at the end of July, a family-friendly mini concert event to the Shadowland Ballroom in the Silver Beach Center. They'll have the timeless classic tailored for the young ears, ideal for budding music lovers. They say ages 3 to 9 will really appreciate it. What has become a highly sought-after summer concert series, the SMSO's Summer Pop-Up Series, will continue at various outdoor locations. The Symphony announced that it has expanded its venues for these free concerts for the community. You can visit the SMSO website at www.smso.org to keep up to date with times and locations of the concerts. We do have some more details posted right now at moodyonthemarket.com about the July 3rd concert, the Peter and the Wolf, which is July 27th, and everything else the SMSO is up to. It is the Moody on the Market update, and it's brought to you by insurance management service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. Again, you can get that story and more at moodyonthemarket.com. And don't forget, the 40 Under 40 Award Program nominations are open right now. You just go to the website. If you know somebody who's 40 or under and is making a big difference in their career, check it out. 40 Under 40 at moodyonthemarket.com. The nominations are currently open. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be back with ABC National News and local news coming up in just a moment, right here. All right, thanks to those of you joining on the video live stream. Do want to remind you that coming up tomorrow from 7 to 8, we'll have Arthur Havlicek in. He's with the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, and we'll be talking a lot of different things about the economy of the area, Southwest Michigan, some of the business initiatives that are ongoing and happening, and a whole lot more. If you have any questions, you can always weigh in on the live stream and let us know what you've got. It's the WSJM Morning Show from 7 to 8 tomorrow. Arthur Havlicek, Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, will be joining us. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for some areas. Some areas have turned to a warning, so we'll get the latest forecast coming up. But north of us, if you look at some areas of South Haven, Kalamazoo, Holland, Grand Rapids, they are under some severe lightning strikes right now. So we'll have the latest coming up, and it does look like it's coming south a little bit, touching part of Benton Harbor right now, heading into Dowagiac. There are some reports of lightning strikes out by Tuscarnia. So do be aware that that is coming through right now. This is probably number one of the storm rounds coming through. We'll have the second storms possible later on today. So if you're getting outside, just be aware, look to the skies, and if it looks like there's lightning coming, stay indoors. It is the WSJM Morning Show. More coming up